welcome back to the channel. I have had a lot of videos lately about the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. I mean, I've had two, but we cannot forget about my bookish bingo. Spoilers. My bookish bingo and our lovely prize of if I hit bingo, we get to go and buy a bunch of bookish merch. So I have been working through this list. I I've been trying. I finished 3 books on this list in June, so that's what we're going to discuss today. And I'm really proud of getting 3 of these done. So, what are the books? I was able to mark off True Biz, The Family Game, and Serpent and Dove. So today we're going to go through. We're going to go through some reviews for these and see where I'm at, how the bingo board is doing, and book number 1, True Biz. So True Biz is right smack in the middle of the board, and I decided to read this one first because it felt like a free space. Now my mother and I have had quite a discussion about how I should be choosing the books, but so all of these books are on this bingo board based on a random wheel spin. So I think it's only fair that because it's already randomized, I can then choose whatever I want to read. She thinks that I should be spinning for each book. But a lot of these I've been timing with like when audiobooks are available and kind of just like what my mood has been. Because, for example, well, I have a lot of plans, but so Frankenstein is on Mr. Checking Pages, aka Connor's Timeless or Time to Go series, where he's reading 18 sci-fi books, and that book is on his list. So we're gonna buddy read that one. So I actually read it because I don't want to read Frankenstein. and then things like Kiss Her Once for Me. I'm planning to do a bit of a spoiler for upcoming videos, but I'm planning to do a bit of like a Christmas in July kind of video. So that will be planned for that. So I have a lot of plans for these books, so it's just easier to kind of just like get to pick which ones I read. And I figured that the middle spot was the best to start with because this is the only spot that works for 4 bingos, up, down, and the 2 X's. So I started with True Biz, and also found a book of the month bookmark. Use me or lose me. That's cute. Okay. Add that to my pile of book of the month bookmarks. I unboxed a bunch of them today. I have a bunch of a bunch more. I should like start actually making like a pile of all the ones that I've had over the years because I have a lot. But True Biz. I gave this book 4 stars. So what is True Biz? True Biz is about students at this deaf school, and it's following 2 students. One who is from a family of whose family is deaf. His mom is deaf, his dad is an interpreter, his grandparents are deaf. They are very big within the deaf community. So he is very used to sign language. He doesn't speak, or at least he mostly chooses not to speak. Then on the other side, we have this girl who she's deaf, but she comes from hearing parents. Her parents got her a cochlear implant. It does not work pretty much at all. And they never taught her sign language, never allowed her to teach sign language. Now her parents are divorced and her dad has custody. So it's her first time being at a deaf school, learning sign language, learning about deaf culture. And he's also learning sign language with her in contrast to the mom who just wants her to be as normal as possible with the cochlear implant and just speaking without signing at all. So we get a lot of history about the deaf community, a lot of really interesting um, bits and such. We get to learn. Um, it's really it's really cool, and I think they chose the such perfect dynamic of two characters in which one is literally has literally been within the deaf community his entire life, and the other one has been an outsider in both the hearing and deaf community. And just watching her pick up sign language and learn it faster than she ever learned how to speak, or her relationship with her roommate, where in the beginning she could barely sign her name, and now she has this whole community around her. I think it's really beautiful, and I really really love this book. So this book did lose me a bit at the end. There was one character who only really becomes important at the end, and his story then gets told at the end. I would have wanted him to have a bigger role throughout the whole book, because it kind of just seems like he got thrown in. I do think his story was very important, and it was another perspective with being deaf and how that affects things. And how his past affects his relationship with deafness and things like that. But I think it could have been maybe developed a bit more and explained throughout the story. Otherwise, I love this book so much. I really, really recommend it. It was really cool and gave a lot of information on sign language. Um, so the actual book does include like signs to teach the audience, and also like as she's learning. I listened to the audiobook of this, which is a very interesting choice for a sign language book, to listen to the audiobook. But what they did was very interesting. So the narrator, anytime that the anytime that the characters were signing, and that dialogue obviously was spoken because I was listening to an audiobook, you would hear it being signed as well in the background, and that's how you would distinct talking versus signing. And that extra nuance was really really cool, and I loved this book so much, and I really am glad that I listened to it, because I think it was such a good audiobook. And I've had this book on my shelf for so long, and I'm really glad that the wheel picked it, because I've wanted to read it for so long. I just haven't prioritized it. So yeah, beautifully done, amazing book, and I would love some feedback from the actual deaf community on what you felt the representation was. So yeah, this was our first book, and a very, very, very good first pick. The next book that I read was The Family Game. Now, looking at the bingo board, this is in the top corner. I did not. So okay, with the first book being True Biz, there really was majority of spots that I could have chosen would have created a line. It was not purposeful, and honestly, like, I am enjoying just reading randomly, so I'm not trying to like actively find like a quick straight line to just bang out and get my prize, because I want to just enjoy books, and I don't really care about, like, the prize is gonna be so fun, but I don't really care about doing this in the least amount of moves. So um so I chose The Family Game just because I've always been intrigued by this book. I was in the mood for a thriller, and this definitely was that. Now, this book is about this book's a little weird. So I gave this book 3.25 stars. Yes. This book was about a girl, a woman, Harriet, who is meeting her fiance's family for the first time. Her fiance is this like huge New York socialite. The whole family is rich and powerful beyond belief. The first impression of her new sister-in-law is that she got Harriet a new meeting with her publisher, because otherwise Harriet wouldn't have been able to go to lunch with her, and suddenly, oh look, the publisher can change the date even though it was not changeable in the first place. So it's like this really powerful family. Do I have a bookmark in here? I forgot that I was collecting them. Yes, I put my shelf first. That's cute. Okay. um and it's this really really powerful family. um so as she learns more about this family, her new father-in-law gives her a tape where he said, so she's a novelist, and he says, this is a story that I've come up with. And as she's listening to it, she quickly learns that this is not a story he made up. This is real life, and he's telling the story of multiple murders about people that the family is close to or was close to at one point. And suddenly we learn that the nanny is no longer the nanny. What happened there? Why did she stop being the nanny? Where are these girls? Are there actually girls hidden in the woods of New York? Um, is she supposed to go to the police with this? Is she supposed to tell her fiance about this? Did her father-in-law suddenly commit a bunch of murders and tell her? And as the taglines, the main tagline here, the rules: listen carefully, do your research, trust no one, run for your life. So it's really interesting following like what actually happened, who do we trust, who do we not trust. She gets thrown into these crazy family traditions, which is like, I would be running for the hills. If my fiance's family was anything like this, you could not catch me at this family's mansion multiple times. Girl was crazy. And this is a book that I read while I was on, I'm gonna call it a hike. I went for a walk when I was at my fiance's place, and he lives in rural Wales. So my walk ended up being a mile and a half up 300 feet of elevation. So I'm gonna call it a hike. So when I was on my hike, by myself, creepy things started happening in this book, and I got spooked and walked back faster. So I really enjoyed this book. I did give it 3.25 stars because, what did I say about it? That's why I like a reading journal. Still think, oh yeah, I had a better twist in mind than the actual twist in this book. I think mine would have been really cool, but alas, it didn't happen. Um, the main guy who was sus, I knew was sus from the beginning. I didn't like him. And I I don't know if I kind of knocked down a star when I guess like the main suspect or anything, but it's more fun when like it's completely unexpected, I will say. It took a little bit to actually start this book. The beginning was a little slow. There was just a lot of introductions and getting things started, which I understood by the end, like why we had to do it like that. And we did have a lot to introduce, but considering this book was only 315 pages, there was a lot of introduction. So overall, I recommend this book. 3 is an average rating, so 3.25 is a little better than average. And I did really enjoy it, and if you do like thrillers, I think you'll enjoy this one. But let me know if you've read this and what your thoughts are. My final book was Serpent and Dove. And this one, so we're starting another possible win line. This is now the horizontal line with True Biz. I'm gonna say something very controversial, and I really hope that I am not getting kicked off of BookTube when I'm really having fun posting videos about books. I DNF this book. Now, I said in my original video that DNFing books still counts as checking it off the box because the whole point is to get my TBR down. So this still counts towards the bingo board, but I did DNF it. Go bookmark here. Oh no, this was a gift back in the day. Who sent this? This was a gift from my friend Cass back in, God, is this 2021? Oh, I'm sorry, Cass. I really do not like this book. But Cass is an author. She's written a couple of books. I'll put them around the screen. Go read them because she's amazing and I love her. But I'm sorry, Cass. I did not like this book, even though you gifted it to me. I didn't like it. I'm sorry. Here's the thing. Um, so this is a enemies to lovers about a witch and witch hunter. And that is about all I can tell you about this book. It takes me a lot to like to love, let alone love a book about witches. Witches kind of creep me out. Um, I am a bit scared of witches. I did just learn the other day about witches on Etsy that you could pay and they'll do spells for you. So that was an interesting conversation that I had at book club. And I don't know, just like changing fate or like just manipulating like how things happen in this world really just scare me and give me a lot of anxiety. And as an anxiety girly, I try to avoid things that cause me anxiety. I'm sure my therapist would be very proud right now. Now, um, book I have loved witches in the past. For example, Throne of Glass, Manon, love her to pieces. Love her so much. I love the 13. I love majority of the witches in those books, except the evil ones, obviously. But all the like the witches that we're rooting for, I love them. I literally have a T-shirt with Abraxas because I love the 13 so much. So I think my issue is with magical realism. Now I'm not calling this book magical realism because I don't think it's actually listed as that in anywhere. I learned yesterday what magical realism actually is, and because I always confused it with fantasy and I didn't really understand what the difference was. But magical realism is magical elements set in our world. So it's just a normal world and suddenly you're adding magical elements to it. Whereas fantasy is a whole new world. I like that better. I like to keep our world magic free. And then all the magic can happen outside of it. Now, does this really make sense? Because like I've read Harry Potter, I've read Percy Jackson, like, and I love those kind of books. Not really, but I'm just like that's like the general sense that I'm getting is that like modernized what gets marketed as magical realism are multiple things that I've DNF'd. Um, so that's a working theory that I'm still working on and trying to figure out like what is the line between magical realism and fantasy because like you have like I don't know, there's kind of like a blurred line. I don't really understand. I mean, if someone could explain it better to me in the comments, that would be amazing. But when I think of like the definition of magical realism, then I mean, you take Percy Jackson, right? He has powers. He's in our world, and yet like he's able to like that's fantasy and not magical realism. So I don't really understand where the line is, but in terms of witches, I think it just like unsettles me the idea that like in our actual world some people can be like influencing things, and I don't know what it was about this book, but I didn't vibe with it, and um I very much just was like trying to force myself to constantly pick it up, and I didn't want to read it. What did I actually put in my um thing about it? Not for me. I think I don't like witch heavy books, but they seem to always miss. Got to 16% and I still want to read it. Not even really sure what was going on. Okay. So I only got to 16%. Usually I power through a little bit more before DNFing something. But it is long. It is a long book. It has a lot of pages in it, so I'm not really mad at myself for that. And as much as I was like really excited about the premise, I think that the beginning just really fell flat for me, and it just wasn't for me. If you have like some really good like witchy books, I would love to change my opinion on books about witches. Would love to. Like I will take any recommendation that you have so that I can actually enjoy a witchy book. I think I need to actually be introduced to like the witch, the magic, everything like from the beginning more and not like this whole like start with them actually being hunted because then I already have like a bit this bad impression in my head about them. I think I need like a cozy witchy book. I think that's what it is. If I have a cozy witchy book, I'll be more likely to enjoy it. Because I do think it would be fun, like around like especially October, to be reading some witchy books. But every year that I've like done that, I've given them really bad ratings. So maybe I need some more like a cozy fantasy witchy book. If anyone has any suggestions for that, I will gladly, please take them. That being said, I have already finished my next book on the challenge for July. My first book on the challenge for July. I might have posted a review as a short. So if you want a little spoiler for next month, you can go look that up. And otherwise, I am having really fun with all these challenges lately. It has made my reading so much fun. I love being able to check off multiple things. I'm very much a completionist, to-do list kind of girly. So just having like a bunch of challenges where, ooh, I finished this. Now it gets marked off here, 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 and here. It's very motivating to me. I also love being able to like see things progress, and like the more writing, the more color on a page, the more I have finished. So I am very much enjoying all of these challenges. Stay tuned for some more books, for more videos very, very soon. In a week, I am heading back to the UK for to be with Connor for another 3 weeks. Uh and I have some fun challenges for us that he may or may not be excited for. But I am just having so much fun reading lately. And if you're still watching up to this point, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all those YouTube things. And I will see you in the next video.